How did you get in this field?
Oh, good question. I will say I didn't choose it. It chose me.
Oh, okay.
So if you would have known me in middle school, my friends will tell you this is who they knew I would be.
Really?
I was that person. They came to me. I didn't have the knowledge, obviously, right? I didn't have degrees. But what I did know was that people were drawn to me with problems.
Okay.
And I was helping them. My friends that were teenage moms, I was helping them tell their parents that they were pregnant.
Wow. Now, where are you originally from?
So I grew up in South Carolina.
Okay.
My family is in DC, so we moved to South Carolina, which is a part of my trauma story. I can tell you about that. But that is kind of how I found it. I discovered that. I knew it was what I was supposed to do, and I went after it.
Okay. So from middle school is when you, wow. Okay. And so did you go straight into like college, like a traditional route after high school and then into college and then so on and so forth?
I am a lover of learning.
Okay.
So I did high school, obviously college, master's degree. I did a PsyD program for some time. I absolutely love learning.
Okay.
So I went straight on through until 28.
Oh, wow. And you said you did a PsyD program for some time. How was that? Because, I know that you used to go to Argosy, that we all have our stories.
And when I went, it was actually Georgia School of Psychology.
Yes, Georgia School of Professional Psychology, yes.
When I started, yes, I did. Great experience. It certainly grew me in understanding, especially about assessments. I know you probably have this in your practice. I learned about assessments. I grew as a therapist. I grew and learning how to assess a problem and provide treatment. Like that was something that I really got that I didn't get a lot in my master's. But I grew as a person, and it brought up a lot of my own issues, which is connected to trauma, right? It brought up my own issues, and I had to do a lot of work around those.
Even when you wasn't getting the spanking or wasn't getting punished, it was like, you better not cry before I give you something to cry for. Right. That was my mother's, that was her big one. Trauma has always been defined kind of in one way to me. And then as going through and through my own education and studies of learning that trauma is actually on this spectrum, and what some people may call big T trauma and little T trauma. I remember one of my first clients early on, and I was doing an evaluation. I was like, yeah, you got trauma. And he was like, trauma? But I've never been to war. I don't got PTSD. And I was like, yeah, you do. But he said, I've always just associated trauma or PTSD with military and being a war and things of that nature. And typically that's what people think about when they hear trauma or PTSD. They think of big natural disasters. They think of, catastrophic incidences, death and sexual abuse and war and things of that nature. And all of that is trauma, but what we often negate is that, what I specialize in, that developmental trauma.
Right.
So things, especially in communities of color, where we, kind of just bypass and say, oh, it's not, look, that's just, if you was raised in a black household, if you know what these letters here on social media say, and we all laugh and sit back, yeah, get your black ass that's in this house before the MF, and we all would sit back, but not realizing, well, what's the true definition of trauma? When they say, look, here, we gotta, cheers to that with the black don't crack, baby.
I love children so much. Because I think children are the best example of us. Before we become us, children they're the best representation of us. If there was a superior being coming to judge us, I would hope that they judge us by the children and not by us, because, like I said, children.
The innocence of the child.
The innocence of a child is everything, and I love my nieces, my nephews, my godchildren, and that's another part of it. That's why. I don't want to be that father that's not there.
Yeah, the absentee.
And it breaks my heart when I can't be there with my nieces and nephews and my godchildren. But they get it,
Yeah.
But at least they have somebody there. I don't want to have my kid being like, whoa, everybody else has their, parents around. And I'm constantly, it's like I can get a call and be gone within a few days. And that's, so everything's sporadic.
Is that a dimple I noticed you have on both
dimples.
sides?
I got dimples, yeah.
Well,
You got dimples too.
Yeah, I have one big heavy one, so this is my good side, and then I have a lighter one on this side.
That's,
you know,
that's the way it's supposed to be. A deep one and a shallow one. That's the way it's supposed to happen.
So I'm always like, take it from this side.
Yeah.
You know, which one is my good side? We talked about relationships and being away from your family and how you are away at least like 2.5 weeks out of the year.
Out of the month.
I mean, yes, out of the month. That can seem like, although you're doing your dream and living your dream, and it may be fun, but also, is it isolating?
Sometimes. But I'm an introvert. So it kind of comes natural for me. All of this is actually what
brings you out?
Well, no, this is all the stuff that makes me nervous and uncomfortable. Like doing
interviews or performing?
Performing, yeah. Not just performing, being the front man.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't even come out of it for that?
I do, but it's, how do I explain it? Some people love the spotlight, per se. Some people want to be the star. I never really wanted to be the star. I like being a supporting role. So I like playing in people's bands. I like being in Anthony's band.
Yeah.
I liked being in Prince's band. I like being on stage with Jonathan Butler. Being the front man for a show is what makes me nervous or uncomfortable every time. But I know I have to do it to build consistency. So that's why I do it.
Absolutely.
I love playing music. I love writing music. I love performing. But being the center of attention is weird.
It makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
www.ilovegoodsax.com. Yeah, boy.
We all love that, because we all love good sax.
Everybody loves good sax all night.
What the hell are you talking about?
All night long? Cheers to that, man. So you are not going for the myth of,
Nope.
marry a rich
Nope.
snowman?
No. Okay. First of all,
I mean, so what was the purpose? Love?
yes. I'm not sure how I take the.
I mean, oh no, it was the cruise. That's what you said.
No. Okay.
It was the cruise.
Whoa. Let me backtrack on that. What I meant was, we were already talking about marriage. He was actually deployed when we started talking about marriage, but before he got deployed, we were only in the same space for a few months. Then he got deployed, but we were on the phone like almost every day, right? And things started getting serious, and we started talking marriage. And so I already booked us a cruise on a meetup group, right? And so when he came back, I was like, listen, if we get married in November 2017, we can go on this cruise and use it as our honeymoon. Plus, he wanted to buy a house, and I'm like, okay, I don't mind checking with you in this apartment. By the way, to anybody watching, get over it, okay? Because my parents is really upset about that. But I was like, I'm not shacking.
Mom, Dad, get over it. I mean, it's been what?
I'm drinking wine on camera. So
shacking with a white man.
When you say it like that, I feel like we're focused on the wrong part of this.
I mean, I'm sorry. Okay, no, we are all diversity, equity.
I didn't want to be
here, but our audience, we know who our audience is.
Yes. And honestly, nowadays you gotta shack because everything's expensive. When he moved into my apartment, oh my gosh, especially with the rent going up, I'm like, listen, sometimes you want to be in a relationship just so someone can help you pay the rent, okay? It ain't even that good, but it's like, look, I need an extra $600.
Listen, I encourage shacking because you do not know who a person is until y'all live together.
Yeah. What I found out about my husband is that, like, we made good roommates. And after the roommate I had before him, I realized, like, I was at a point, I'm like, I don't want to live with anybody ever again. Like, if I get married, he could be in a different house. But after Zach showed up, I'm like, you know what? I can do this. So, but I didn't want to be shacking in a house. Because I feel like sometimes you get to a big step and then people get lazy. I'm like, listen.
So it's different shacking. You're okay with shacking in an apartment, but not a house.
That's where my mind was at the time. Now, when I look at rent today, I shack with 3 and 4 people. Listen.
This is Dr. O After Dark, and
Oh! I forgot that was my bad. Listen, I would just like to throw out, I had a very sheltered childhood.
And sometimes I forget when I'm walking into a situation. I don't do any snow of any sort, of any kind.
Gets rid of rough patches in second.
I don't do hypothetical snow.
She just walked right
I know, and that's just said in it. I didn't know I was
three types
in
of snow.
I was like, what are you
There's
talking
cold
about?
snow.
There's the kind that comes out the sky. It's just snow.
The
Snow
white
globe.
man snow.
Snow globe. There's the snow in the snow globe.
And I know your husband black.
Actually, fun fact.
or not white. Well,
My husband's actually what I call extra white.
well, see, you do snow.
I mean, he did get nicknames like Casper and Powder when he was a child. So there's that. People are always surprised when they find out how white my husband is. So you haven't heard that comedy yet. I am determined to make the world happy, to make the world a better place. But sometimes you really don't know what people are dealing with. Even when I'm dealing with my own stuff, there are days I don't even want to get on stage because it's that bad. One of my friends could tell you right now, I had a horrible situation that maybe some people wouldn't be as devastated about, but like I take my work seriously. I thought I had an opportunity, now I'm not sure.
And it's okay because trauma is different for everybody.
Yes.
The way that we're impacted, so we don't want to minimize how it impacted you. So let's not say, well, it may not be a big deal for others because it was a big deal.
It was a huge deal.
For you.
And when I'm on stage, I do try to compartmentalize my life, right? That's how you know I'm drunk, because I couldn't say compartmentalize.
Look.
So I'm that particular day, I remember I was like, one show I did recently, I cried. I was in traffic on 85 crying, but I had to be on stage that night. But because of the things that people come up and say to you, and because of how you impact people, I try to put myself aside. Thank goodness that day I saw my friend. She really helped me get into the right mindset, because that day I was like, I don't even know how I'm getting on stage today, right? Mm-hmm. But I do it for the people, because people need this. One thing I learned in the pandemic is I'm not that essential. One thing I learned not long after the pandemic is, this is very essential. So I'm on this planet, I'm trying to make the world a better place. I'm very determined to make the world a better place and make people feel that joy they need to get through whatever they're going through next. Have we done anything on the helicopter?
No.
I'm a clean comedian, so I'm not gonna answer that question.
You just gonna sit with a little slurp. Y'all hear that slurp? She slurped